Episode 17, part 3 of Kenya's premier video podcast, the Three Quarters Podcast. That's right, Kenya's premier video podcast, the Three Quarters Podcast. We are shooting from Vineyard on Raptor Road. They've been courteous enough to let us have this space today being 26th of March 2017, as we shoot our last episode of the regular season of Kenya Cup. It is wise to note that we've been able to go to each and every home of the Kenya Cup based teams, apart from Western Bulls, and Western Bulls was only as a result of a change in fixture at the last minute. In our quest to bring the best to you in sports, we are willing to sacrifice and go leaps and bounds to make sure that we bring the best to you guys. This is Gashi, official noisemaker,
Jerry Goose, Kenyana,
and of course, Road to Japan hashtag. We keep on asking you guys to support the Kenya Simbas. They're about to start their qualifiers. They play Uganda at home, then they play Senegal at home, they play Tunisia at home, they go to Bulawayo to play Zimbabwe, and they go to Windhoek, Namibia, to play Namibia in the to finish them off. Please forget about the shenanigans that are happening in Kenya rugby. Let us support the Kenya Simbas. Let us make it about the players. Let us make it about the fans, and let's get the Kenya Simbas to Japan in 2019. Part 3, of course, is our segment where we like just talking about other sports. To show you that we're not all about rugby, we're all about sports.
We know other sports.
We know other sports. And our first topic is going to be, of course, the Safari Rally that happened last week.
Last week, yeah.
26 19. Yeah, 19th March 2017. That's the Safari Rally. Yeah, took part.
16th to the 19th.
Exactly, 16th to the 19th.
Yeah.
We must add that we actually are very avid rally supporters.
Very much.
Before this engagement, we would actually be at the rallies following the games.
Yes.
I just want to ask you this: what do you feel about the rally? This, of course, let me read the results quick first. Tapio Lakunen, navigated by Gavin Lawrence, were number 1. Ian Duncan with his longtime partner Amar Slach, his navigator, number 2, and Carl Tundo with his long-time navigator Tim Jessop at number 3.
Yeah.
It's also good to notice that Gavin Lawrence used to navigate Alistair Covenant.
Yep.
Yeah, but anyway.
And then as well, how close was this rally?
How close the rally was, exactly.
Yeah, with Lakunen winning it for the first time, actually.
Yes.
After 3 attempts.
Yes.
Winning it with only 22 seconds.
22 seconds.
Yeah, Duncan was on his back.
Yes.
Sana.
Yes.
Yeah, at one point, I think the lead kept on changing.
Yeah.
Yeah, all through the weekend.
Yes.
But he finally came out on top.
Yeah.
Yeah, becoming the first Finnish.
First Finn to finish. First person from Finland to win the Safari Rally.
Yeah.
Tapio Lakunen, that is. It's also good to note that the Safari Rally is now back on the Africa Rally Championship circuit.
Yep.
My only problem, okay, a couple of problems with the rally is, number 1, from when we started following the rally, some of us we were lucky to have folks who follow this thing.
Yeah, you started watching these things with your toddlers.
When it was WRC.
Yeah. And
of course, then 2002 it stopped being the WRC.
Yeah.
But then we had KCB come in and sponsor the rally full-fledged.
Yeah, and they've been doing it for quite a long time.
And they made it a very popular sport. However, I feel there's been a dip in the last 4 years. Also changing the regulations, this thing going to the farms.
Yeah, closed roads.
Closed roads.
Yeah.
And there was nothing. When Aske started watching the rally when we were of age, there was nothing as good and I think as authentic in terms of being a Kenyan as going to watch a rally.
And they joined the rally inside the room, not even the spectators.
Exactly.
Stage. Get into the competitive section.
Yes, and see these drivers at their best.
Yeah.
So we only hope that the rally can get back to those heights. Of course, we also have to say that there's been a lot of irresponsibility. Irresponsible behavior from the fans.
Yeah.
This issue of drinking and driving, and of course, the adrenaline gets charged up when you watch these cars.
Cars passing, you start thinking you can be one of them.
Exactly, and accidents happen.
Yep.
So, also for the fans of rally, of the rally, we have to realize that it's just like any other sport. You have to treat it with respect.
Yep. I know that these people train for this.
Exactly.
It's not something that they just come decide that today I'll drive.
Yeah.
And
no,
it doesn't happen.
Yeah, they train for this. Hii Safo hapana mchezo bwana.
Safo noma.
Safo noma bwana. F1, Formula 1 is now back. we had the Australian Grand Prix.
Taking it was today. And this week.
This man, not Grand Prix.
Grand Prix.
But the Australian Grand Prix happened this week. You're the F1 guru. Tell us how it ended.
Guru, Vettel won the first leg of the Formula 1 season.
Yeah.
The Australian leg, he won. It was number one. Second to him was Hamilton.
Yes.
A big 10 seconds away.
Yes.
Yeah, that was quite a big blow to the Mercedes team. And then Bottas came in third. Raikkonen, Vettel's teammate, was fourth.
Yes.
Then Verstappen, the first Red Bull.
Yeah. Max Verstappen at fifth. Let me ask you, of course, Nico Rosberg, who's the defending champion, is not going to be competing this year. He's retired.
Yeah.
Who do you feel are the guys, after watching the tests and the practice, who do you feel are the guys to watch out this season?
As always, Hamilton is a guy to watch.
Yeah.
He's always in contention. He can never write him off.
Yes.
I think Hamilton drives. He's more like an old school driver in a way.
Yeah, he's more about the driver, not the car.
It's him. It's him. It's the driving.
Yeah.
The car, yes, the car is quite good.
Yeah.
And Mercedes have been having the most dominant, the best car, I think, the last 3 seasons.
Yes.
But Ferrari at least have stepped up, so now it'll be more about let's see who can drive.
Yes.
Yeah. And let's watch out for Vettel.
Yes, Sebastian Vettel. Yes.
This Verstappen guy,
Max Verstappen,
he can be.
He's what, 20 years now?
Yeah, he's quite a young guy. He was even brought in last season as a replacement. Some other guy was quite reckless with his with his car.
With his car,
yeah.
Okay. Actually, I do feel that Hamilton will always be there, and it's also good to see Vettel coming back after his move from Red Bull, of course, to Ferrari. It's also good to see Vettel up there. This weekend we did not have local football, the league football, because of qualifiers, World Cup qualifiers, and I'll just touch on 2 games, all of South American qualifiers. Brazil beating Uruguay 4-1. Of course, Uruguay missing Luis Suarez, but they still had Edinson Cavani, so they're beating them 4-1. And Argentina beating Chile, who've been like their boogie team for the last few years. 1-0, Lionel Messi. It's also wise to note that Argentina are actually might not, if the results don't go in their favor in the next few, they might not make it for the World Cup in Russia.
Just might not
in next year.
Yeah, well, they might pull a sneaky one. Just sneak in and
sneak in. Kimwamba. They might just sneak in. So that's just to mention a couple of the international football games that happen. Which brings us to our bonus segment. We always tell you that we have a bonus segment every week where we try to dissect sports issues and sports debates across all boards. As we've told you at the beginning of this episode, or at the beginning of this part 3, we're just not about rugby. We're a podcast that covers all sports, but we just focus on rugby because no one is focusing on the local rugby scene in Kenya. So anyway, to the bonus segment this week, and it's basically to discuss the current state of sports coverage by our local media, what we feel and why we feel it is, what can be done better, and some pros and cons. Actually, I don't think there are any cons, but some pros of if the local media stations decide to cover. So I'll let you go first, Ngozi.
Yeah, what I think about the local media, it's lacking in the sense that they're the most, it's what most Kenyans can see.
Yes.
It's the local media. Not many Kenyans, the majority of Kenyans can't access the likes of Zuku, the likes of DSTV. This is pay TV. And they're quite expensive, even for our middle class.
Yes.
Yeah, it's even quite expensive.
Yes.
And we're trying to reach the young kid who has never heard of rugby, who has never heard of, let's say, tennis or anything of the sort.
Yeah.
Why don't we start airing our local matches on our local national television?
Yes.
Let's say should our local media, and these are corporates.
Yes.
They can come in, bring in some money. It's a return of investment in the sense that you'll get more people viewing your TV.
Yes.
And everything.
Yes.
So if you can air Kenya Cup, let's say on a Nation TV or KBC or even KTN, Citizen, the works. You'll reach a lot of people.
Yes.
You'll find guys asking, oh, hii ndio ile mchezo inaitwa rugby. Hebu tuone venye inakaa. Dad sees that, sitting down watching a rugby at Toi, will see that. It will get the game out there.
Yes.
And it will really encourage. It might get a few guys, 1 or 2, to join the game.
Yes.
And push the game forward.
It's good you say that because, and it's good you brought up that issue of pay TV because if if you look at the developed countries in terms of sport and sports coverage, I think about I might be wrong, but I think about the 1950s, 1960s when the NBA negotiated a deal with NBC, NBC Sport, and NBC was not pay TV; it was not cable.
That's national TV.
Exactly. They negotiated a TV media rights deal that brought money to the game and took the game to the next level. So I do agree with what you're saying, because if Citizen came on board and say, let's say for example, I want to cover Kenya Cup, because the truth and the fact of the matter is Kenyan football is covered by SuperSport.
And it's only watched in Kenya.
Exactly.
Even SuperSport, if you were in Tanzania, you can't access Kenya football.
Exactly. So you have SuperSport, and you have now Bamba TV coming in recently. You have rugby covered by Zuku. How many people have Zuku?
Not even 50% of Nairobi have Zuku.
You see, so that's a point where I think we need to take our coverage to the next level in terms of the local media stations. The same investment they put in local product, in terms of the Papa Shirandulas and all the that bad show. Sorry, that's the Cobra Squad.
I knew it.
But the amount of investment they put in some of these shows, I think we should move it to sport now. If Citizen, if Nation, if K24 sit down and say, look, we are going to cover Kenya Cup, sign a deal with Kenya Rugby.
Even if it's two stations covering, that's fine.
That's fine. At least everyone in the country can have access to that. And therefore, it does take, you've always raised a very valid point. There's that young kid who will watch there and get inspired by those guys.
Yes, and just see these guys doing something he thinks he can do.
Yes.
And it just starts like that.
And you pick it up, and you have very many you have superstars in Kenya.
Very much.
I hear them, and especially the middle class, making argument about quality. I can say for a fact, rugby, we are not far off.
You're not far off.
Pound for pound, we can measure up to the big guys. So
talent as well.
Yes, talent-wise, we can measure up to the big guys. So yes,
immense.
I think it is, and I do agree with you. It is time that our corporate organizations and our local media stations start investing in local sports and covering local sports, not sports news.
Not this at a brief. It's a still photo.
Let's get sport. It's a still photo.
It's a still photo of a guy with the ball.
They don't even have names. They don't even have a coverage.
That is a photo for old school.
That has been episode 17, part 3 of Kenya's premier video podcast, the 3 Quarters Podcast. As always, we ask you guys to like our Facebook page, we ask you guys to follow us on Instagram, and we ask you guys to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You need to jump on the train for the 3 Quarters Podcast, because it's a big thing. If it's going to be the big thing, if it's not the big thing right now. This is Gash, your official noisemaker,
Jeringus Kenyana,
and stay tuned, keep it live, keep it locked. Episode 18 drops next week. It's playoff time. We are ready. Are you ready? Press play.
Safi sana.